10-year-old boy hit the headlines after he was asked to leave his local Nando's with his young date because they weren't old enough to be in a restaurant that served alcohol.
Oh, well, this got us thinking, are primary school children too young to be going on a date in the first place? Here to discuss the topic, we're joined by Nilufer, Atik and Julia Hartley. Brewer, welcome to you both.
Good morning.
This is an interesting one, isn't it? Well, let's start with you, Nilufer. How do you feel about this? You've got quite a strong opinion on this.
I have. I mean, first of all, I'd like to ask, why were two 10-year-olds out in a restaurant unaccompanied by an adult? They're far too young to be out and about. It's just not safe, I don't think.
Even if they're dropped there by a parent and then you know, the time frame's discussed and they know what time they're being collected?
Well, anything could happen to them. They could be abducted, you know, something, they could have an accident, anything could happen. I think at the age of 10, they're still children, they still need to be supervised by adults, and I think, you know, the manager was well within their rights to ask them to leave because they're underage. Secondly, why would a 10-year-old want to date? Why do we date? We date because we're attracted to either a member of the opposite sex or the same sex. So we date either because we want to forge a romantic relationship with that person or to have sex. Why else do we date?
But aren't you taking the innocence out of it a little bit?
Well, no, because why do adults date? They date for either one of those two reasons. They want to take it further than a friendship or they want to have sexual intercourse with that person. At the age of 10, that's the last thing they should be thinking about.
When I was about 8, there was someone at school that I quite liked. I won't name her now. Susan.
Go on.
Susan. But my folks, because we were down in Cornwall, but I don't think there was even thought of that you go out on a date type of thing. But they set up a little table in the sitting room, and she came round, and my mum, it was like a restaurant. My mum came in, and we sat down, and we, you know, you talk about school. There was nothing else other than the fact that I quite liked her, and we just sat. There was nothing entered my head.
But there were adults there, and this was just like almost like dress up. It's like a little game of house you guys were playing.
Well, isn't more or less what they were doing,
no.
Just they were in Nando's?
And also, Phillip, I think we live in a very different age these days. You know,
we don't.
Back in your day, back in my day...
There were just as many dodgy folk out there then.
There were. What I'm saying, though, is we didn't have access to material that kids now have access to on the internet. We weren't influenced by that material. We couldn't access pornography online. Children as young as 10
for the fact that they went for
a
date in Nando's doesn't mean to say that they're sexually active online looking at porn.
No, but it's the date could be the first step to something else, and that's what worries me.
I think this is so sad that we are putting this horrible sort of sordid, horrible sexualised image of this lovely little innocent thing. This lovely little young lad takes his girl out that he likes for Nando's. I don't understand them being thrown out of Nando's, by the way. My 11-year-old has gone out to Nando's with friends and just with friends.
We've mentioned them an awful lot. There are many other chicken outlets available. This particular outlet actually said, we know that nobody wants to go on a date with their parents in town, but unfortunately it's a legal requirement of our alcohol licence in Scotland that under 13s must be accompanied by an adult. I thought they were really sweet because they then went on to say, we hope that the date went well and we're sorry if we cramped this style.
They sat outside on a bench, and what I like now, chivalry isn't dead. He paid for the Nando, so all credit to him. We don't see so much of that anymore, do we, ladies? No, but the thing is, this is really innocent, and I know I've got an 11-year-old about to be 12, and I said to her the other day, you know, I was 11-year-old once as well. You know, I know what goes on, and we all like to think as parents that our children are wonderfully innocent and they're still sort of playing with Barbie dolls. I can remember 11. I had my first kiss the last year of primary school. I remember being asked out on a date in my last year at primary school. I didn't go. I found the whole thing all a bit excruciating and embarrassing. But if we had gone on a date, it would have just been, you know, going to the Wimpy bar and maybe to the cinema if we were feeling it, you know, splashing out. It wouldn't have involved anything sordid, anything nasty. A date doesn't have to be about sex or a precursor to it. It's just two kids who like each other being nice to each other.
Isn't it children on play dates?
Isn't it also better that they are actually communicating across the table and talking and not doing it on social media?
I think a lot of parents like you spend your whole time worried about this stranger danger, abduction fears and what they're going to get up to in real life. The real dangers for our children right now are lurking in their bedrooms on their screens.
But yes, well, that's what I'm saying. They can be influenced by these things. It isn't just a question of stranger danger and what other people might do to them if they're unaccompanied by a responsible adult. It's also the material they're influenced by these days. You have to look at the statistics. Child-on-child sexual assault now has risen dramatically in the last 5 years. Why is that?
Massive overreaction.
No, it's fact. Why is that? It's because we are encouraging children to behave more like adults. They're not ready for it. They're not emotionally equipped to do things like have romantic interactions with one another. They're not mature enough. They should be children. When I was 10, I would be going round to my friends' houses to play dress up and do colouring in.
But children grow
I
up.
wouldn't be going out on dates. I didn't even think about boys at the age of 10.
Well, you didn't, but other children did. Children grow up at very different rates. I don't allow my daughter to sort of do things that I think are inappropriate. I want her to have as much of a childhood as possible. But if she wanted to go, she said, I met this boy, we'd like to go on a date. I think Dad might feel a bit different, but I wouldn't.
We have to leave it there, unfortunately.